Good morning and welcome to my garden. It's been a long hot day and very humid, and I'm just now getting on to cleaning up this garden. So contour 1 has been taken over by carrot weed. So this weed here looks a lot like carrot when it's growing, and it has these little seeds that spread very easily. So today I'm going to be getting rid of all that carrot weed from this row here. And right now I can hear a buzz of bees. The bees are really enjoying the Thai basil. But as you can see, as it grows bigger, the plant itself splits at the base. So it would benefit from a heavy prune, but the question is whether I think I'm going to do that today or not. I think I might leave it until some of the flowers finish while the bees are having so much fun with it. There's plenty of other cleanup I can do along here. And contour 1 on the back also needs a cleanup. All these carrots that went to seed are nearly finished. I'll leave this one here because the flowers aren't ready to harvest. But the seeds are very ready to harvest on this one. So I'll harvest this plant and spread those seeds. And the rest of this is just weeds. I've been doing a lot of cleanup in the garden recently. Having special visitors coming always helps to motivate productivity. So yesterday I focused on contour 1 on the north. And you can see all this open exposed earth here on contour 1 syntropic chop and drop row. The exposed earth is not so good. I mean, it looks lovely and neat and tidy, but the earth that's exposed to the sun and to the air, it becomes crusty and hard on top. It also loses a lot of moisture and it becomes very dry and very hot. I'm going to underplant here with a whole stack of capsicum seeds. There's no reason why they can't be part of my chop and drop row. It'll become a productive forage row. So we have a lot of weed coming up at the moment. This weed here is very much like nutgrass. It has runners. About every 3 to 5 centimetres it has another node, and from that node it will grow another plant. And so it has been taking over gradually most of my garden. You can see a big patch of it here that I didn't get to. Some of it's just too hard because it'll have its roots and its runners in and around the arrowroot here. And if I dig it out, I'm sure to miss a lot. So I know with nutgrass, every time you dig it out, every node that you snap off the main is triggered to start growing. So I'm a little bit concerned if I can't clean up this area properly, I'll actually just be stimulating more growth and more weed. So I've chosen to leave that there because it'll be too hard for me to dig it out. I also cleaned up the northern side of contour 1, the vegetable producing side. That's a lot of dry exposed earth too. I'm keen to get that planted up so it can be covered again. And when I plant it, I can put some mulch between the seeds that I plant. This is going to become a garden for zucchini and squash. The drip irrigation will help to keep the water off the leaves of the zucchini and the squash and hopefully reduce the amount of fungus diseases that the plants pick up. These tomatoes were volunteer tomatoes and they were growing here. And so I just placed a trellis between the plants and then fed the branches of the plants into the trellis. So cherry tomatoes are more comfortable being on the ground, but they take up a lot of space when you let them ramble without limitations. These larger tomatoes do better on a trellis, and I'm looking forward to some nice fresh tomatoes in my garden. In my cleanup, I also tidied up around my fruit trees. This apple tree had a stem that was up to about 80 centimetres tall, but that stem never thrived and it kept looking sad and trying to die off. These shoots appeared around the base of the stem. Now my apple was seed grown, so I didn't have to worry about a graft. Instead, I was able to allow the plant to regrow down lower, and hopefully these lower stems will be a lot healthier than the tall one that was growing there. Now this pear tree, it's looking quite good. It had a branch here that was growing straight up and towards the inside a little bit. I pruned that one off because we wanted to have an open centre so the light could get to all of the plant. I also pruned this one off. Once again, it was coming up straight, almost leaning towards the centre. So taking those two off, and this one here, means that the centre is kept open and the plant can continue to grow, putting shoots on the outside of the plant, on the outside of the main stems. Now this pear tree, now wait a minute, is that really a pear tree? It's got the similar style stem, it's got the similar style shoots. The leaves are just very different, so it kind of makes me wonder if it's not. I did plant brown pears, Packham pears, and some Nashi pears. Maybe I got lucky, maybe this one's a Nashi. Growing trees from seed mean you don't always end up with exactly what the parent plant was because of the genetics of the seed. So this plant looks a little bit more like the other one, which I know is definitely a pear, but it also looks a little bit similar. Oh, did you see that? I just had 3 pale-headed rosellas fly right past me. They're now in the Grevillea honey gem and eating the flowers there, but they also really enjoy the seed heads of this basil, and they also enjoy eating the pigeon pea. So getting back to the pear tree, this one has shoots all up the stem. I'm just going to pick off the shoots that are below knee high because I don't want any branches down that low. You can see in the past I've pruned it so that it's starting to open out. If it grows well this season, we'll be able to have some nice branching from that plant. So contour 1 on the north is all cleaned up and ready to plant. So I've been tidying up contour 1 on the north and I've planted it up. 2 seasons ago this had potatoes. Since then it's had a whole lot of carrots. Now it's planted up with zucchini and eggplant. You'll notice these structures that I have on the garden bed. I have had some years of failed attempts to grow zucchini. And one of the main reasons is because zucchini is very susceptible to mildew. And in this area we have a lot of humidity. Even when we don't have a lot of rain, the air is very moist and the grass is very dewy. Humidity will increase the chances of mildew growing on the zucchini and the squash. So this particular squash plant that I planted here, it prefers a trellis, so I've given it a trellis. The zucchini I've planted along the rest of here. I've put these trellises down on the ground to keep the plants off the ground to increase the airflow and to see if I can avoid the mildew from the humidity around the plants. They're not very far off the ground. I've tried to get zucchini to grow on a trellis before and it was not successful. But I'm hoping that having them grow on these structures, when they grow up and through and then fall over on top, they'll be kept off the ground, hoping that there'll be more airflow and hopefully reduce the chances of them suffering with mildew. So I've planted a zucchini near that dripper and that dripper, so they are 90 centimetres apart. And then I've planted eggplant at the front, where are we? At that dripper and at that dripper. And the same here with the zucchini planted there and there, so that's 90 centimetres apart. That's also 90 centimetres from the previous, and eggplant planted in the front here. So now it's all planted up and it's all ready to grow. I have one last carrot here, still ripening its seeds. And when they ripen, I will distribute them around the garden. But for now, we're going to wait until the seeds come up. I can start watering it again. I've planted each of the seeds under a dripper, so hopefully that'll mean they will germinate effectively. And I can also start mulching between them.